Hi everyone, I'm Lewis and this is Musical Lewis, a channel dedicated for more good music based on my good music tastes. And I'm gonna do another video today of something that I have just watched on YouTube this afternoon when I just got home from work about songs that define a person. And this video was inspired by Brendan Snyder, who I do follow on YouTube quite a bit. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna link his video in the description below, but I'm probably gonna tag him in the description of this video as well. Now, I have gone with 12 songs from 12 different albums that I've got down here. And obviously, I'm going to do it in a slightly different order to him. And obviously, these are completely different artists to what he has put in his videos. So, um, I picked 12 albums and they're from 12 different artists. Some of them are UK artists, but others are American and Canadian. Um, but three albums also come from the same artist from three different projects. So I'm going to talk about this in a certain degree. Um, Obviously, one of them, well, there's actually two artists from two different projects, but from different projects as well, but we'll get to it when we get through this video. So we're going to start with my first pick, and obviously you've seen my review of this album, but I'm going to talk about the song anyway. We have Suede with Antidepressants from 2025, and this is the album, this is the song The Sound and the Summer, which is track number 5 on this list. Now, some of these songs are not exactly singles, but they're actually tracks that do define my life, and The Sound of the Summer is one of those. Um, um, the song lyrically by Suede is about a car accident or a car crash or a car chase and a crash. But to me, I look at the song and think of it as a metaphor of, how I want to live my life despite having negative feedback from people and then telling me that I won't be doing this, won't be doing that. And the sound is me as the person. The summer is my objectives, my achievements that I have achieved. And the motorway, as it says in the chorus, is me um, going down the motorway to achieve what I want to achieve, despite people trying to hold me back, which is what I metaphorically think about this album, about that song. And I think it's a good song for that. You might look at it differently to me, but I think personally it's a really, really good song, and I think that song defines who I am as a person and how I live my life up to this point. Then we're going back to 2007 with this release, and an album that actually helped me with my post teenage angst and stuff. We have Fight Star with One Day Son, This Will Be Yours. This is the second band with Busted's Charlie Simpson. And the track I'm going for with this one is We Apologise for Nothing. Now, similar to Sound in the Summer, this came out 18 years before The Sound in the Summer. But to me, it's about, it's a life defining song about trying to do something where people try to hold you back. But at the same time, you leave and you don't apologize for saying what you have said because they don't apologize to you for what they've said. So you don't apologize to them for what they've said. So um, I think it's an interesting album, an interesting song, and obviously, I have heard of Fight Star. I wasn't a fan of Fight Star when they first came on the scene, but I didn't get into their music until years later. And this is an album that I found myself enjoying more and more. And I do have this on vinyl as well. Um, the album, and the song is good. All the songs are good on this album. So, Finkley Fight Star and We Apologise for Nothing is one of those songs for me. And then we're going to go to something a bit more coming of age for these next couple of picks. And we're going to start with Bon Jovi with Have a Nice Day, the album. And the song I'm going to pick is Welcome to Wherever You Are. To me, that song for me personally is like, you're welcoming to where you are in the world, where you are in your life. And this song was personally, because when I did my review for this a few months ago, still got to do all the Bon Jovi albums anyway. Um, Welcome to Wherever You Are is one of those songs where I feel that you listen to it and it makes you feel that, you're coming of age, you're welcome to wherever you are now, whether you're living your life or whether you've just made friends with someone new, you know, it's a good track. It's such a wonderful song, and personally for Bon Jovi, for me, as I said, this was the first Bon Jovi album I've listened to from front to back, and obviously, "Welcome to Wherever You Are" is one of my favourite songs on the entire album. I do love this album to bits, but "Welcome to Wherever You Are" is that song where I feel that it's all grown, you know, to feel welcome to wherever you are in this world. And then we get to another album and another coming of age album. We got Nickelback with Here and Now. This came out in 2011. This came out in 2005. So 6 years between albums here. And the song that I'm going for is the song "Don't Ever Let It End." Now, this is the closing track to this album. So far we've had a middle track, a track that's two songs in, and then we had a track that's three tracks in. This one is the closing track, and to be honest, "Don't Ever Let It End" is one of those songs where I think that when it's like you're coming to an end of something, like, you're going to be leaving something behind that you once loved, or you left something that, you're going to be, you knew it's coming to an end. And it's like, whether it's a friendship or a relationship or person you're not going to see again or anything like that. And you try to keep in contact with those friends, but unfortunately life doesn't go that way. And this song has kind of become that anthem for me. And 15 years later, since this album came out, it's still one of the best Nickelback ballads and best closing tracks on any album so far. I mean, to be honest, I know people don't really like this album, and some people say it's not one of Nickelback's most popular, but it's still a really good album to me personally, and I really do like this. And then we're going to start with something a bit recent now, and we've got the album "Luck or Something" from Hilary Duff from 2026. This is the newest album on this list so far. Suede Antidepressants is the second newest on this list, and I do have another record that's from 2025 as well, but we'll get to that. We have, and the song I'm choosing this time is "Future Trippin'." Now, the song itself, it does mention about worrying about things that haven't happened yet, and sometimes you're thinking too far ahead if something is troubling you or upsetting you, or upsetting me, shall I say. And I think as a concept, I think it's a really good song, and this album really helped me in a way, because whether it's regard to my work or whether it's regard to other people, or, and this album really showed something in me, which I never thought I'd look into. Because sometimes I think there's a lot of stress and anxiety going on in the world at this point, whether it's work or, people on the news and this and the other. But to me, this record actually helped me, and "Future Trippin' is one of those songs that I keep returning to since this album had come out nearly 3 months ago, and I've only got it a couple of months since. So I've got the CD here, but I've also got the vinyl in there. So I really love this record to bits, actually. It's, as I said, it's still one of my favourites of the year so far. So then going back to another 3 years prior, we have "Music in the Madness" by Ward Thomas. Now, I saw Ward Thomas last year in October, and they only played the one song of this album. think it's two songs actually, but I can't remember. But the song I'm going to go for is If It All Ends Today. Now, If It All Ends Today is one of my favourite songs off this album, and personally, one of my favourite songs ever by Ward Thomas. Cartwheels is still the best song from them, which I do have that album up there. But If It All Ends Today is one of the best songs from Ward Thomas. And personally, the song itself, to me personally, is if it all ends today, really, it's about what's happened in the world, and you know whether it's someone's going through a lot of intrusion, or in people's lives there's a lot of noise going on. And If It All Ends Today is one of those songs where I think that sometimes you don't always know what's going to happen in the world, just like I said with Future Tripping. But sometimes it's like you want to get over something that's like what's upsetting you or what's stressing you, and that song is kind of like that to me. It's more of an interesting track, and it's one of the best songs on the record to me. And then going back to 2002, this is probably the earliest track I've put on this list. Oasis with Heathen Chemistry from 2002, and the song obviously is Little by Little, but this is Noel Gallagher singing it. Noel Gallagher, obviously, in my opinion, he's one of the best singers in Oasis, along with Liam, of course. I mean, obviously, you got to like Liam if you love Oasis. So, but the thing is, Little by Little, obviously, it's a meaningful song. It's a very meaningful song, and obviously, you gotta do things little by little to succeed in life, as I think of that song. And that's one of those songs that I think that defines me really well, because I was a teenager when I first started listening to Oasis properly, and obviously my mum is a massive Oasis fan as well, but I'm the one that has all the CDs, and the vinyl. Actually, I got this on vinyl as well. I mean, there's other Oasis songs I could have chosen, but Little by Little was the one that I've chosen the most. I think out of all the songs that have come out from Oasis, Little by Little is still one of my personal favourites, and it doesn't get played very much, but it's still one of my favourites from Oasis, and one of the best songs off the album. I think Little by Little, it's one of the most understated Oasis songs, despite it was a big single at the time. And it's a good song. I really do like it. That's why I think of it to me. Then, going straight after Oasis, we also have Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds with Chasing Yesterday, and the song is You Know We Can't Go Back, which is track number 9 on here. So far, we've had 2 tracks at number 4 with If It All Ends Today and Future Tripping. Little by Little is in the middle of Heathen Chemistry at number 6. So You Know We Can't Go Back is almost the end of the album again. So we kind of jumped about a little bit here. You Know We Can't Go Back is almost the same as what I said with We Apologise for Nothing, where you can't go back after what someone had said to you, or whether it's a big argument or something like that. You Know We Can't Go Back kind of feels like that in a similar way, but it's from the insider's perspective, and it's like, I can't go back to how things were all those years ago, with my old friends or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like, everything's changed again. So it's like, it's an interesting take. And Noel Gallagher, I've heard some people dub this from Noel Gallagher as like, we can't go back. He's like he can't go back to being in Oasis again, which at the time we knew that was not going to happen. But now Oasis are back with their reunion tour last year and everything else. The song's a bit invalid at this point, but We Can't Go Back, still a good song, and definitely one of the best Noel Gallagher songs ever, in my opinion. Now, the other newest song on this list, which also came out in 25, like the Sound in the Summer, we also have 3 Days Grace with Alienation. This is the album with Adam Gontier back in the band after 15 years. Well, well, I'll say 12 years actually. And the song on this is "Don't Want to Go Home Tonight," which is the ballad on this album. Um, "Don't Want to Go Home Tonight." There's a lyric in the song where, "From the comfort we gain is the chaos we lose." That to me is like, because I left my old job by redundancy last year. It was almost a year ago now, and 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 then a few months later, this song came to me because I was missing all those old friends and missing all the good times I had with those guys and everything. And this song was a comfort to me. Because I kind of accepted that it's time to move on and try and get on with life, but at the same time, you don't want to go home. It's very similar to what we can't go back, where it's like you can't go back to how it was, but at the same time, you've got to accept that you got to move on, and that's what "Don't Want to Go Home Tonight" is kind of like that to me. Um, it's an interesting song. It's such a Considering I like some of 3 Days Grace's music. I mean, I do have the debut on CD as well, but I don't have any of the others. But I've only got this and the debut on their CD, as I just said. So it's a good album, definitely a good album. And then we got from 2017 and an opening track now. We got Caught by the Wind by Stereophonics from the Scream Above the Sounds album. This is 2017. Um, and Caught by the Wind is one of the most energetic songs on this album, and this is my favourite Stereophonics album of the lot, actually. Um, Caught by the Wind is one of those songs where I think that sometimes, because when I'm not working or, and most of the time I am a long distance runner and a bit of an exercise person. I mean, I don't feel like it now, but but sometimes, I do a lot of exercise and stuff when I'm not working. And Caught by the Wind is one of those songs that gives me that feeling of adrenaline and, that sort of thing. So it's like a bit of a song where I'm like, I want to go out for a run. I want to get some exercise, and that's what Caught by the Wind is, that song to me. It's a good song. Um, Obviously, one of Stereophonics' best songs, actually, and I think it's one of the best songs that Stereophonics have put out in a long time. So, and if you can get this album, I do recommend it. The newer albums after this, Kind was pretty good. Ucha was a bit all over the place, and Make 'em Laugh, Make 'em Cry, Make 'em Wait, which is their newest one, I don't particularly recommend it unless you've heard all the other ones first. But it's still a really good album, this. Then we're going to get to Busted, same with Fightstar, but this is their comeback album, Night Driver, and the first track on the album is Coming Home. Now, Coming Home opens the album, and obviously Caught by the Wind also opens the album as well with Scream Above the Sounds there. But Coming Home, to me personally, as a Busted song, it's like rebuilding a friendship with this song. Whether it's a friend you haven't spoken to for a long time or a friend you fell out with and then you rebuilt your friendship with them again, and that sort of thing. That's what Coming Home is like in that song. I think it's a fantastic little track, and obviously it was the first thing from Busted after 12 years since Thunderbirds Are Go in 2004, and that was the song that really rebuilt Busted's friendship and also got them to see them again after 12 years since they split up in 2005. So, and the same again when they did the Pigs Can Fly tour in 2016, which was their comeback tour. So, I do have the DVD of that. It's a really good concert actually, and because obviously I went to see Busted McFly last year, but sadly they didn't play this song, which I would have loved to hear them play if I ever saw Busted again myself. But it was a good album, really good album, and Coming Home is one of my favourites. And finally, we're going to go with Charlie Simpson as a soloist this time, obviously from Fightstar and Busted. This is the last track on the list. We're having Long Road Home from 2014. This was 2 years before Busted's Night Driver, and 7 years after Fightstar's One Day Sun This Will All Be Yours. He did another Fightstar album after this, and then he did another solo album, and then Busted after that. So I do have his solo album before Busted up there as well. So and the song I'm going to be talking about is the song 10 More Days. Now, like with Welcome to Wherever You Are and Don't Ever Let It End, that is like a coming of age sort of song. And obviously, I was 20 when this album came out, and this is one of my favourite albums of all time. Probably my favourite album of all time, actually. Um, and to be honest, I really do love this album, and I still love this album today. The case is a bit battered because of how old it is, but 12 years old at this point. But it's still a really good album to me. And 10 More Days, to me, it's a song about, how what's going to happen in your life when you don't always know it, like I said with Future Tripping. But at the same time, it's like it's looking from, it's me who's brought you up to here at this point. So it's like, it's a very interesting track, and I do love this one. 10 More Days was the song when I first listened to this album from front to back. I absolutely enjoyed this album quite a lot, and I think I played it to death a little bit, but it's still a really good album, this one, and definitely one of my personal favourites from Charlie Simpson as a soloist. Um, so that's my songs that define me list. There might be some more videos like this, more bloggy type videos like this. Thanks to Brendan Snyder for recommending me this. I will probably tag him in my comment in my description. Um, and also, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm very happy that you enjoyed my videos, and I hope to see you again pretty soon for hopefully another review, probably. Goodbye for now.